about that. I will be right back. But this is nothing short of bullshit.
Like, the day ruiner because I literally set off the Xbox except for Crunchyroll today. I was too afraid to even go look at it for this reason. I was just preventing myself from doing so because I just had that gut feeling that they weren't going to give a damn. They cared about yours. They care about everyone else's, I guess. I guess mine just didn't matter. I mean, this ain't the first time mentioned before. This ain't the first time I've lost something because of them. Got the starter pack that one time because of an issue they had. One of the people on my list had the company, and they gave her, they got her that vehicle, and then they gave us the starter pack extra because it was part of the starter pack. So I mean, just kind of gave her the weapon and gave me the pack, and not 5-10 minutes later, after sorting through the game's extensive properties that became free, that account got wiped of the millions of dollars that it's supposed to give me. The starter pack was wiped in upwards from 5 to 10 minutes. And then the first time we tried to get the vehicle, the reason why I'm so mad, the first time we tried, the account got wiped. I want to call it quote unquote bug. I really do think they're just targeting me at this point. That was the first time we tried to get it. The second time, after earning every damn bit of money to buy the vehicle outright both times, I finally got it, spent the money. It gave me the prompt that I was going to get it, and I never got it. 24 hours passed, and I can't do anything. So when I got on today after that thing happened, because I was nervous as hell, I was happy to think they might just do that too, because I also got the half track from the weapon wheel, and I had it for 24 hours maybe, and it was gone all of a sudden. And when I got on there, I was met with a lot of sadness. That wasn't just a middle finger, Bromby. That was a middle finger, get the hell out of our game, because I don't have anything. They took my account from me, the character list, the 2 accounts, and wiped them both. I had to start over completely from scratch. I did have just enough time before this wipe happened to check my account. Apparently it was set in play this morning, 1 o'clock in the morning set in, and I had a certain amount of time to hop on and enjoy the game before they inevitably wiped my account. And I had just enough time left on that timer to double check my money. And shortly after finding out that even that my chips are removed and my ability to use the wheel has been removed, I couldn't even tried to steal a vehicle and put it in the casino garage, and I never paid for it or could not pay for it, and then the thing cut off. So again, that wasn't just a middle finger, that was a get the fuck out of our game and a middle finger. I guess you could say it's a pick and choose world. They choose to help you, and they might not choose to help the next guy. They might help a player that's outrageously and completely toxic, and then choose to hurt someone who isn't, or vice versa. I just accept it as the fact that it's how it is, given, again, I traded the Fallout community, calm, yet toxic, but yet calmer and less violent in times in Grand Theft Auto, for a Grand Theft Auto gaming experience, for literally the only reason was the cars. I was kind of tired of looking at the cars in the game of Fallout and not getting to drive any of them. I missed the van, and I missed a few other experiences with the game. But though I'm super unhappy and disappointed in the company, it has left me with no games to play. 0. I have Fallout still on the account, but I'm probably not going to go back to it as soon as most people would likely do. Because again, I left it to play Grand Theft Auto in a calm, pleasing fashion. And now because of me doing that, I have to delete all of our Grand Theft Auto / multi-game account things for groups. Free Road Caravan is going to die because of Grand Theft Auto. And Rockstar intentionally targeting me. You know, just...
Deliberate attack.
It's an attack. It's not even a coincidental, hey, he's just trying to yada yada this. He just wants his stuff back. I don't care then. It's an attack, is what it is. Because they didn't just deny the email by not doing anything. They went as far as wiping my account. And I still kind of believe some of the account wiping is because other players. I mentioned on the Reddit post that times that we've lost pacifist mode, there was a player that was causing it, or causing a problem around us, and I've noticed every time it's happened, there was a person sitting on an oppressor nearby that vehicle that was causing us problems, that was nearby, like waiting. It's been different gamer tags. In a way, thank God, there were different gamer tags, and not, you know, the same individual more than once, but every time that my pacifist mode on my account for character 2, which was made for my daughters, was ever fucked up, the individual was on an oppressor, and it wasn't until that individual got close to us when the shit fucked up. I kind of wonder at this point, who's gonna fix this shit? Because every time we make a video on one of these things, just like any other YouTuber that does this shit, we're the ones that are getting thrown around in the randomizer, and then ultimately not getting picked to be thrown in the trash when it comes to the algorithms and shit. Yet the next YouTuber that comes along that just started YouTube is going to skyrocket to millions and millions of subscribers, and they could be doing the same exact thing we're doing right now, getting screwed by a company and making a "this is unacceptable" video. We're no different than Inoff, Juicehead, Rifle. I don't know any other YouTubers off the top of my head that actually do follow Face News. We're no different than them. The only difference is the algorithm says, Bromby's channel has, like, for example, 6 subscribers. Well, we're going to throw him in the trash because no one cares about his problems, as the algorithm is programmed to do. No one ever listens to us on Reddit. And the fact that I made a comment to a supposed developer on Reddit that's been confirmed by other Reddit users as them being a developer from the company, she gets confirmed to please stop asking for the 1911, the M1 Grand, or the stick mag. We do not at this time, nor in the future, do we plan on adding those weapons to this game. Very straightforward, very stabby. I was just like, okay, I'll just not even comment. Yeah, everyone else is like, oh yeah, we need some new elf, we need some new hairstyles. Come on, it's been 2 years. And they're getting considered it right now. I was watching a video with Inall, but I can't even watch the fucking news characters anymore who do their news stuff about Fallout, because it's like, if we had said it, it would have never gotten done. But the fact that people in the community are like, oh, we needed a hairstyle. Failure on today. Oh my gosh, new hairstyle. 2 years, man. It's been 2 years since we got a nice hairstyle from them. And the company's like, yeah, you're right. I'll remind the dev team to do that.
Hairstyles.
The 9mm in the game, but just like the idea to open up mini vaults in the game, they made a new vault for nuclear winter instead. So, opening these vaults. I don't plan on having Fallout. Because that was... I'm tired of getting the metaphorical middle finger to fuck off when I just ask for small things to fix the game, add one or all 3 of these guns, or 2 of the guns, and what that was a modification. It's just simple as a modification for a submachine gun, because it was a World War II based weapon, and I just quite frankly, and I'll say it out loud, I did not like the drum mag on these guns. It doesn't do well, in my opinion, to have an explosive submachine gun and have a large, medium, small, or quick eject drum mag. I'd rather have it a smaller burst round mag of 20 to 30 rounds, because I don't exactly know how much rounds are in it, because it's quad. But again, apparently I'm not important enough as a community member to even consider it, and we even tried, people even agreed with us on Reddit. But to hear from someone who has been confirmed to be someone in the company to tell me to basically piss off, I just said okay. I didn't say anything to them. I said, all right, then. That shows where the companies of video games are standing. That a hairstyle is more important by the least number of people. I'd imagine that less people were talking about the hairstyle. More people are talking about how the bosses are getting one shot than people in the computer are using things like that Nuka-Cola paddleball thingy, but on the PC only. But again, you got to remember, phones are adopted, consoles are redhead stepchilds, and the PCs are the favorites. If you think of the company's systems as a family. So if you don't play PC, again, put gun in mouth, and metaphorically, and open loaded when you pull the fucking trigger. Every time you decide you would like to reach out to a company, you ain't a PC member, or some high-paying official in the game that spends a couple $1,000 a day, metaphorically shoot yourself in the head or the foot. Either way, it's going to kill you. I'm done. Rockstar just kind of, it's been a long time coming for Fallout, and I made that point to leave when reasons, but I was already kind of done with them before the fuck off. So when Rockstar did this for me, I said, fine, you win, Cosmos. I'm just gonna point the gun and shoot. I'm done. I quit. I'm throwing the towel, man. I'm so done. Doing everything I can. I play these games normally. I'm calm. And, how we even backed off the lawsuit just a little bit. Just a little bit. Damn, quit me. Bug. Because they seemed like they were gonna help. And what happens next? When I contacted her, she messaged me back no sooner than the fact that we decided to pull back the lawsuit because for reasons that not keep private. I mean, you know about some of it, but I trust you with it. We pulled it back because, again, that was one of my requirements is, you consider doing some of these things and finally the freaking people like us in the community that are just being suppressed by everything else. And as soon as we made that pull act official, was the first thing I got from a developer on Reddit. Piss off. We don't care. They waited and waited and inevitably lied their way out of a lawsuit. Again, mind you. First one, they lied their way out of it, and then it turns out they were going to send a representative in Todd's place. This time, it was for ZeniMax. ZeniMax did the same exact thing as Todd does. Yeah, I don't feel like going to court, so I'm going to send someone in my place. So, yeah. I yeeted the Xbox out of the wall. Amber's boxing, and I've been planning on whether to send it back to Microsoft with a can of dog shit to commemorate how we feel about the product, as well as the games that are on it, or to use it as a target for the next years, because we can't go to the shooting range right now because of the risk of COVID. I just, like I said, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm tired of people treating us like this. I'm grateful that you don't, but at this point, they've run me off. I don't plan any of it. It's done. Every time we get on it, me and you have fun, if we're lucky, for an hour without having any issues. The second we try to do other things, we get fucked royally for anything imaginable. Given I use that Xbox for the sake of PTSD, recovery, and I've gotten more PTSD to handle the stress of the Xbox not standing up and helping. They directly messaged that one too, as well. I got a message from a Reddit user who was back in the company for excuse here. And what did they say? They said, according to the Reddit user, the company does not care whether or not you have PTSD and whether or not you use their game as a way to cope with it. You were better off getting blown up by a landmine or shot by a God-fearing radical than you were coming back here and starting problems in the game. You piece of shit, stop messaging that stuff on Reddit. You labeled it a concerned and fed up community member. You're a piece of shit who decided to exist on the same planet as me and serve a dying country. Probably banned as well from the Reddit after that. So I'm just going to sit here and say, I guess, because it's just not happening. I'm guessing that individual was a moderator for something, because I've been banned from Reddit. I just got a notification about that with a little sad Reddit character. So this is just a wonderful day, isn't it? So I chose to go on the Xbox just for a little bit of fun and to check in on the update or whatever it was. And the whole world's gone to hell. I'm going to have to find some other method of interacting with human beings, because I'm more likely to shoot them now than I'm going to be friends with them. I'm not going to. I don't care. I'll say it. Human beings are no longer worth the ability to survive and live, because they're more likely to screw someone like me over for any reason at all.
Their reasoning.
I know people don't watching this understand how rooted to the problem this is. It's not like of any kind, regardless of what they've done. They've seen shit and they need a way to cope. I was somewhat lucky because I didn't get my limbs blown off, or I didn't die before I was pulled out for COVID. For the sake of I had a kid or several kids and my wife back home, I was lucky to come back with just the PTSD. But inevitably, we live in a country that again stole land, killed millions, made this their country. Like, oh yeah, we've been here for centuries. Cool. Hey, look, Russia's mad. Let's kill everyone. It's just an endless cycle of stupidity. And you can call me unpatriotic. I don't care. I don't want to be unpatriotic. There was a country or a landmass that was there to punish millions for acting the way people are acting now. I'd be the governor or the president of that country. Because I'm done. I lay my life down for people that play these fucking games and do what they do every day, and then get on the game and treat people like me like shit. Saying things like you don't care that you serve. And I think that I laughed when I heard him say I read that message. You know why? Without people like me, you'd have some other worse country coming in here making you their slave. Yeah, bad, own, or there's all sorts of countries that would rather kill Americans. Some of them even kind of jumped in NATO for a bit. People really don't know how bad it is to treat vets like shit. And that's kind of why no one's signing up to join the armed forces. They're not going to lay their life down for anyone. And I don't fucking blame them. I wasted my years doing it. Yeah, I enjoyed some of it because I joked about it being a vacation when I left. I needed a vacation, and then I went. Me and Amber joked about it, and then I got deployed. When I came home, I was glad to be home. And I joked about it being too long of a vacation. But nothing ever made me so mad to come home alive than to go somewhere with my wife and kids recently to get something at the grocery store. And when a guy behind me heard that from the cashier thanking me for my service, he turned around and tried to beat the fuck out of the cashier, and he hit Clover with the broom handle that he was purchasing, and called us, said that we should have died because we had to kill people to save this country, calling us things like damned and, the things you shouldn't be. He said that my wife should have stepped on a landmine before I came home because it's so disgraceful. Now, you can guess what Sabrina did. And you can guess what happened afterwards. She's on house arrest now because of that. Clover is facing criminal charges, but even though the cameras got him going first, Clover beat his ass and shoved part of that broom handle up his ass. Now she's facing criminal charges. They tried to get me too for being there, is what it really was. But they said instigating. You get a card for serving your country that says, hey, look, I served. You get a discount. Thank you. It just tells people, hey, you served. So it took one person being friendly to turn my whole world into a, do I need to shoot the civilian, or do I need to let Clover physically impale him? But the funny thing is, he's fine. He's not getting any kind of trouble. Sabrina's on house arrest for scratching his face deep enough to be bone visible. And Clover shoved the pole up his ass. They're going to be facing charges when he was caught on camera swinging the fucker. You know what made him mad? He got denied the right to go into the training and be what I am. So now he hates everyone else. Guess what else? He's an Xbox player.
No.
I heard what I've been heard. We go back in the library there. He and his son were at Walmart buying some card, something card for the game or whatever. And he was directly scolding his child. He smacked his child in the face when the kid brought him back a COD card to get the currency in the game. He said, I will not have you acting like the pieces of shit that their country sent over to die and had the balls to come back not dead. After a bit of a meltdown, the dad ended up buying it for the kid, but what the fuck, man? I overheard this, and it scared Mars a little bit to think that people would hate something I've done so much, because guys spent a pretty good bit of time over there risking death almost on a daily basis. And then you come home, get back, and then they're like, I'm not to shoot you because you're back and you have a card that says you did it. There are people that believe that probably. They go out and they believe that the country sent me to die. It was a death sentence, and it's my fault that I came back alive. And they act like it's crazy. There's a lot of World War II vets that came home and were treated like that when they did their parade and memorials. Some of them been attacked after coming home. They didn't get the memorials because people hate it so much. But again, if no one else does it, imagine the worst possible thing happening to America. Everyone's smoking their nightsticks and not giving a damn that there's something about to happen. I mean, that's why Russia worries about NATO going up their ass and taking over lots of land. They need to stay a stable country. And yet we're sitting here bullying all of our vets to the point of some of them will commit suicide or other things like going back into their service and completely tanking their PTSD to end up going on a massacre. Who knows at this point? you know. Again, I was lucky to come back from my PTSD, but it hurt like this. But the video was originally about. Why did I serve in the first place? If it wasn't just for you and your family, and my family in the immediate household, I don't give a damn about anyone else in the world. The people have readily showed me since I've come back that I wasn't worth the life effort on American soil, so I was apparently sent over there to die. And I hate to say it, I'm going to say it right now. When push comes to shove and something ends up happening, you bet your ass I'm going to be on the opposing side of America. I think I'm just tired of getting pushed around.
But I think
you got games to blame for some of that, though.
Right, there's a lot of that. But I thank you for the time you served, because you served and fought for me, so I didn't have to fight. That shows how much you really do care about people, because the ones that truly do care about you, and I'm talking about you as in the people who are watching, the ones who really care about you are the ones that are willing to fight for you. Now take a look at that and look at the way that these veterans are being treated. So many of these veterans come home to no home.
Right? Or some of them don't get to come home.
Like they don't even get to go home.
If they step on a landmine or get shot, and they get sent home in a casket. And then the wife gets treated like shit. I watched a video because my daughter's got a big TikTok. I made her install the app because the first video that popped up was a picture of a younger male in uniform. And apparently a stepmom saying, "Hey, when you die, I don't want your wife to get the proceeds. You owe me. You owe me that money." You know, that's not legal right now. I mean, you understand that the significant other / spouse, boyfriend, it usually takes it as far as engagements and things. The part of this, I've seen it go back. They get the money. So she was basically trying to commit an illegal action of, you owe me your life and everything you served for. Because that money that we get, okay, here's the thing that people also don't get about serving. Get paid for doing it. Now sometimes that payment is usually in cash later. It's usually like the war. And we're paying you, we're just putting it in this pile right here in a nice briefcase. And if you don't die, you'll get it as soon as you get home. Damn near sometimes the day you get home. If you don't make it home and you're stuck in a casket, they go through an extra mile to have a ceremony that you were killed in action. They have a ceremony. If you're a sniper, they knock stars into your casket. The American Sniper movie really got that covered really well. Very heartfelt. Your wife's sitting on her knees crying. And then she's going to end up getting paid because not only is your burial going to likely be free because you served, but that money is going to her so she can support herself and or your children. Did you know that they also give your spouse and children protection, government protection, depending on what you did? If you were a sniper and you were killed in action, your wife gets a small, what I'll call a small secret service, a little guard group that stays outside their house because they know once the thing is over, someone's going to try to kill your wife or your husband. It depends on what gender you are. Does that not say a lot to you? And then these fuckers don't play. They don't play. I mean, they're like I said, imagine mini SEAL team up someone's ass because you walk too close to their house with a gun. They won't just detain you. If they think you're going to hurt somebody, they'll go credit card connect and be like, you had a gun, you look kind of bunkers. Let's get him, boys. At least drive the dogs. I mean, I've seen those guys in action. I knew a guy, William. was part of that at one point. Before he did what he did, before I had him a sniper for something else. So Mr. Robot was into some. I mean, like I said, Brian, by me and him go way back. He's been joking about that shit being like a spy movie. Oh no, he's been around.
Yeah, he's been around for a very long time.
And this is the saddening part: is that things like that happen. Or once the shit's over, she gets escorted back home. Your kids are going to be surveillanced for the sake of protection. When they leave home to go to school, that school bus will be trailed by an unmarked cop car or a federal vehicle of some sort, somewhere. And I've even heard of stories from other guys, just a little bit of rumors when I was serving, that they might trail you in a helicopter. In case someone tries it, that person is going to get a missile. Or who knows what. I mean, like I said, some of them joke about seeing, like, Apaches and Blackhawks flying overhead of the house every morning. They just sweep over the house. Again, depends on what you do, and I'm just going to say with a grain of salt, it happens. People hear the word, thank you for your service, and part of them just stabs himself in the heart and says, I didn't get up and do it myself, so I'm going to treat the guy who did it like shit because I blame him for my problems. That's the first time that's happened. I haven't really had any notable issues that I would be willing to talk about besides this one anyways. That was the first time since I've come home to think to myself, if this continues and neither one of them jumped in, I would have shot him. My head was twitching like, I'm going to shoot this fucker because he... Yeah. But he did. He's likely going to spend the rest of his life with a 5-finger scratch mark in his face. Some of them were as deep as bone. Like, he has, like... I know for a fact he won't be able to use part of his face because she severed muscles and tendons for his mouth. So he's going to look like a Harvey Dent for a long time just because he let his rage out. But everyone fears a soldier walking around with a firearm and still carry who served his country because he's going to flip his lid and bomb everybody. But the guy with the everyday human with the freaking broom handle, which I still don't get how he got it, because after a little quick thorough search, the Walmart that we were at doesn't sell broom handles. They sell you the whole fucking broom. That's a hardware store item where I live. Hardware being axe handles, axe blades, broomsticks, scythe blades, and scythe handles for agricultural, and you have to have a license to get them. Oh my on the fucker, I walked right on in and said, hey, I'm gonna buy me a bunch of stuff for my kid. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of this veteran in front of me. I'm gonna hit his wife. And then proceed to get my ass beat by a witch and a creature that I've never before seen. It ruined his life. Again, I almost did it. You know very damn well that if I pull a firearm, that person's gonna die because my life is in danger or someone else's life is in danger. And now you wonder why I don't go anywhere. COVID's killing the good people.
COVID is killing the good people, and people people are disrespecting the people that give their lives.
Why we haven't got it yet? Because the only reason why we ain't got it yet is because there's another purpose for us. I want to mention that one day we might just get it. This is kind of a little joke to that is, again, the COVID's killing the good people. We're next, right? Because I have no other way to look at it. I believe that. Me and Amber both believe COVID's just killing the good people. Killing the old people. It's killing the young people. It's killing the people that are just regular old Joes that don't care, but they don't not respect the ones that fear the police for the good reason that they're there to protect. Ones that would have served their country if they got a chance to. COVID's killing all of them, while people like me and you are kind of sitting here just trying to survive and not get it. and the rest of 90% of the other population is just going to be a dick wherever they go, to the point of riots, raids, and murders, just cause. When they mentioned some guy tried to break into William's home recently, and when promptly caught and detained by William, and asked, why would you want to break into this old family house and not in the garage right behind me with millions of dollars of vehicles and a fucking bomber plane? I wanted to kill the person that lived in it first. The police are still baffled why the dude's neck was broke. They can't understand it. His DNA was in the broke window. He had cut himself on the window on the way in. DNA was all over William's house. And they're like, oh, wonderful, Mr. Afton, why did you break this guy's neck? He didn't seem to do anything wrong besides break your window and climb in. William told me to get the fuck lost. And he made it very clear. And I got a video of the cops running from his house. So you could say that William's going apeshit crazy over the same thing. Because he has a little bit of PTSD as well, but with a grin like that, you can tell he's suppressing a lot of his pain and suffering. Right. But again, William's more likely to commit a massive genocide and make some certain scenarios reality to make people leave him alone. High five here. I'm telling you, you got 2 hours. He's here on following football. Technology is advancing really good. I never would have ever, in my previous years, thought of a machine that has 5 compartments and will rotate your cat's food bowl for you. So that way, if you oversleep, it'll do it for you. The Roomba can't even clean the house. So I named him Todd. I etched the word Todd in the bumper. The bumper reader that goes, doom, and just, oh, look, there's an object there. Let me turn around and go somewhere else. Boom, oh, I'm stuck under like a 4-legged chair, but I'm going to keep repeating the process until I run out of batteries or fill up my dirt trap with who knows what else. But this is just a small rant, again, of going back as far back as reasons why I'm so disappointed. Am I mad? Yes, but the most disappointed. Disappointed in this was not even a hard thing to do. This didn't require a ton of decision making. It was as simple as I spent game currency to get a vehicle and did never get it. And I won a vehicle, had it for a day, and it disappeared. And no contact back from them here still. And then they wiped my account. And again, I still believe some of that's by a player, but I'm not even going to bother. I'm not even going to bother jumping in and saying, hey, my shit got wiped, because I think it's a player, but I think more of it's just because of the company. They made a poor decision, but the decision they made will not affect them on a profit level or risk anything such as their jobs, lives, or yearly profit from who knows what. It's not going to bother them at all. Taking one supposed unruly gamer out of their game it's just enough for them, I'd imagine. They're probably patting themselves on the backs and giving themselves a hell of a bigger raise than I get to an employee. Whatever. Like I said, I'm likely not going to keep playing Xbox. Like I said, I'm having Amber put most of it away. Every time I purchased a game as a disc from Microsoft, it has either been a flop and completely opposite of what the reviews said. Dark Souls. But I don't understand anyone today even being paid by the company and saying this is a damn good game. How much of the game did you play, sir? Because that game, literally Dark Souls 3, screamed, play the other 2 first. Or so you don't play this you did, because you won't know what the hell's going on, and you won't be able to get past the first 5 minutes. I want to mention that game should have been marketed to only those who played the first two. I finished it. So I mean, like, hey, we noticed you played Dark Souls 3 and liked it. Here's the Dark Souls 2 and 1. Here's the third game because you did it. I would not have liked to see that game on shelves, given how difficult to me it was. Given that all my other games are going to get sold soon, as I've tried them out, I just got tired of them. Some of them I played and then they messed up because of an update, or I really don't know with certain ones. I know Fallout got boring.
Some of them didn't even fucking download the first time.
I mean, Fallout 4 got boring for a specific reason of I don't do a lot of singles. If I do, it's a Nintendo game because at least I'm not going to have to do a huge ass MMORPG from a company that doesn't give a damn for most of their stuff. And the fact that it's kind of bugged itself anyways. I like Fallout 4 for the most part, but again, bad reviews, or not bad reviews, bad public feedback is bad public feedback to me. If I don't support what a game company is doing, I don't credit them at all for anything. It's an understandably so situation. You're playing Terraria for reasons. You're playing Minecraft for the flat reason they removed the notch and legal procedures of royalty from hosts. He should be getting paid royalty because he made it. Whether or not he's part of the crew or not, it's his stuff. He has assets in it that belong to another one of his games. So I can see him suing them in the near future because they sell 1 million copies and it's still rising every day. Jeb's gonna suffer from what I call a gluttonous heart attack one day, and it's gonna be, and that heart attack's gonna come in the form of, you shouldn't have removed me from the team. Now you have a couple million players that didn't like it. Now they're gonna come and take your money from you. Have you ever heard of that? We're a community that, the suppressed part of the community gets tired of seeing the BS. They've already left and they accumulate outside the buildings. If it's a parent company, a child company, they go outside the parent company and they'll raid that fucker, man. I've seen it happen in my earlier years as a kid. They'll drag executives out on their legs and feet and shoot them over shit like this. Now, granted, the world was a little bit more savage back in the 90s and earlier, but again, if I can't respect the company, I just like, I don't care to do any riots, but because riots don't really get anyone nowhere. Even though you have a reason to do so, you can do it legally. Again, reasons I won't get into that because here we are having a riot as we speak for the wrong reasons to make our darker skinned individuals angry, and especially the ones that don't want to riot, they don't need to riot, the ones that are woken up and say, hey, wrong reason to sit here and, riot, guys. The rioting is stupidity of mankind, would I ultimately say is going to get most of the world killed. If we don't sit here and suffer now because of gaming, we'll suffer outside of the game. And I want to mention this directly, it's going to get a hell of a lot worse the next coming years. Like, I want to say this right now, you're likely going to get this is going to be a COVID thing. Everything that's happening here is going to be a permanent thing. It's going to stay this way as a new social norm to know what COVID is, and they've either had it or will have it. I'm going to say that as calmly as possible. That's just what's going to happen. It's just happening, man. You can't really do much about it. So,
I have a few words to say because about some of the previous things we were talking about, especially with the military. I have a few words to say myself. you know I don't listen to a shit ton of music. I'm very not uncultured in that regard. But I started listening to Five Finger Death Punch, and they made a song. They made quite a few songs about the military, but they made a song about what happens when veterans survive. They get out of the war. They come quote unquote home to nothing. They don't get anything when they get back. Sometimes some of them lose their families, they lose their lives. The sacrifices that they make go unnoticed. They go unnoticed and unrespected.
Also not even punished for doing.
And think about this. They said in the final thing, in the final few minutes of that, they said, every year, 5,000 veterans will die to their own hands. That's a veteran every 2 hours. Don't know if those numbers have changed, but I believe they may have gotten worse.
Maybe not. It really honestly depends on how bad the human people have gotten. Again, COVID is also a little bit to that. We're lucky to come home because of that, but you can't take every single one you find away. And COVID's it's not gonna be a complete just cause to remove players or people from the front lines. You still gotta have people over there defending. Keep those same people that would likely come in and take our way of living away. You gotta still protect those people, but like I said before, let them come on in. I'll happily open the doors currently because they had nothing as a country, and America stepped in to combat them for some small things they've been doing so for years. They'll gladly kill an American citizen just because of that American. And like I said, I'm just tired of coming home and being tired every day and still saying to myself, this is the life I asked for when I served my country. I'm finally getting that point to rest, good old R&R at home. And then I'd say this year, I kind of regretfully so wish that I hadn't come home. I wish I was still in the front lines.
I still remember the message you sent me when you came home.
Look at Amber's face as she's trying to comfort the girls who didn't act on it. And the fact that the police were ballsy enough to blame Clover, me, and Sabrina for the incident. Aside of the management saying otherwise, we had people saying otherwise. Police did not stand down. They looked me in the eye and said, you think just because you serve your country you can come home and cause problems within a public place? You're wrong, buddy. Clover is going to get stitches because of that shit. Amber, got hit a couple times by his other, who looked to be a little young. The kid was crying about it because Dad's beating the fuck out of someone who did us a favor. But like I said before, I believe it's just because he's mad he didn't get a chance to go. But given that his wife jumped in with trying to hurt us, well, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm very disappointed in the way people treat most soldiers anyways. But then there's a couple stories here that are great, but they're the bad end of social warfare. But it makes you wonder, how lucky do people think they are? How much of that shit do they think they can handle before it's like, hey, I noticed you served our country, and instead of saying thank you, I'm going to tell you to fuck off and try to shoot you. How bad of a country do we have to live in where that's a possible thing? It does scare me to think that all I do is serve, and my kids are on one of those target lists. I've got to post credit. That's not a thing. Or not, another group I joined. And I wanted to mention that because, again, I blame the way people are living on this small point of interest that we're making our video on. And I think that they're unhappy with me for, again, barely an excuse here. At this point, I really don't know what goes on in the minds of some company members when they find out inevitably that I did service, and usually that's when they jump in and get all, problems start arising. But given that that was a Fallout community member, or someone like you and me that joined the Reddit, that was willing to say that out loud and receive zero backlash in the process, tells me a lot. And I kind of thought that this company was disappointed, and I thought the people that played it could use a little bit of work. And I started thinking otherwise, because again, all it has been stepping up for people in COVID, but killing everyone else does. So again, I won't give them any credit here because, again, they run that Reddit as well, and no one got, and I'm the one getting banned. Again, like I said, I'm guessing this individual pushed for it because it just sickens me. I have a direct message from a Bethesda reply thing saying that they don't care, or that that's not on their list, and then have another community member jump in and say, that you don't deserve to suggest anything. But, oh well, right? After all, like I said, we keep making videos like this, and no one really cares. They watch it, they enjoy looking at it, it's cute, it's funny to some people, but that's all really, that's truly all that happens. And I go, oh, wow, that's happening. I'm gonna go over here and watch Fortnite or something, because I can't be bothered to comment it. And like I said before, if you're people that view, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those were Bethesda employees. They're watching us just to screw us. Given how human beings have been acting, I believe it. I really do. It's depressing.
It's sad that it comes to the point to where they can't even enjoy anything. That's another thing I understand. We're just sitting here trying to enjoy a game without having a crash every now and then. Or some dickhead ruining our experience. It never happens that way. It's always something or someone who's fucking with something. Whether the name is general nuisance or...
And she didn't like that shit. They charged her with assault with an anklet on her leg. She's not allowed to go anywhere outside the house. She can't leave the front door without running that risk. Over self-defense, a God-given right of freedom to bear arms, and my kid had to defend herself and our family and get charged with assault. They wanted to charge her with more. They wanted to charge her with attempted murder and use of lethal weaponry along with that assault. But they ruled out that that it would be fitting to cage her up with an anklet. They said it directly, cage her up with a house arrest anklet. It'd be fitting for something like her. I guess in a way that some of my fears have been confirmed. My children are different from everyone else, so therefore they're a target by everyone else. But it got me real hard when they were going to do that, and then they wanted to charge me and Amber. They wanted to, at this point, let's just say it's safe to assume they were going to charge everyone that was with me that day. For, again, insert reason here. Mars is not even old enough to get charged with anything, and they were trying to get her for instigating the incident. There was no witnesses that said that we were doing anything wrong directly, but again, in fact, it was really the opposite. But we were told that we were, turned down and insulted. Clover is having stitches. Amber's probably going to have to go get our children some trauma rehab because of this. And this dude's going to have the rest of his life physically deformed because of his actions, and we're getting screwed over for it. So fear your police officers, people, because they don't care what race you are. They'll just, at this point, they might just kill you just because they feel like it.
Even over checking nothing when the person at fault doesn't get a damn thing.
I want to never mention this, Rob, by the most trying times of the world and the inhabitants on it fear darkness over light. They'd rather redact and hide things that they do to judge everyone else. That guy wanted to kill, would have been happy to kill any of us just because of the mention of service. And he didn't get anything but we're going to take you to the hospital because your face is bucked because of what you did. It's his own actions that had hurt. Again, Sabrina may hate people as a human species that she hates, but she does not act out on any individual without a direct reason. And I can assure you this, because I had taught them right from wrong. Kate would have done it, but Kate wasn't here that day, honestly. But she was doing other things with Genevieve. So Genevieve would have done it too. Genevieve would have walked in there, would have went outside and got a crossbow just to beat the dude's ass with the stock of the crossbow. He's lucky he got his face peeled off like he did. I want to mention that one now. Sabrina was in one of those moments that, again, we fight for what's right in our family. They know what's right and they know what's wrong. They know. There's no questions there. So when shit like this happens, it sickens them. Especially given they were not very friendly. They weren't just racist, because again, my daughters are not. There's a whole bunch of things that they're different from all of us. But the fact that they said she needed to be caged with an ankle bracelet, as her species deserves it. Said one thing to me, that if we get in trouble anymore, and they could just show up at our house tomorrow and start causing problems, and if we jump in and try to defend ourselves with the legal right to do so, I don't trust anyone outside of our house that wouldn't have us killed in the process. Again, he was not punished at all. In fact, he was praised by one of the officers. You do what you could, now let us take care of it. It does say it really does. To know that he's getting a free pass when we just defended ourselves. So the word self-defense has been thrown out the window. And like I said, fear your law enforcement people, because your life does depend on it. They will kill you if it benefits them. And benefiting means any way that they can do it and not get in too much trouble for it doing it. I take back what I said. If you got something, if you fear something, someone, or of any kind, you're doing something wrong. After today, I don't think that's true anymore. The law enforcement is supposed to be there to help you and help defend from you and take action where action is needed and legally required. Not pull people over because they look strange, not ankle bracelet a being because they look different, and sure as hell not take a guy who was notably wanted as is, giving him a free pass because he hit a girl that looks looks like she would kill a bunch of people. They had some things to say about Clover. They said that, she ought to get worse than what we're giving the other one, because she looks like she'd commit genocide. That's not just racist and sexist. They just threw that on Clover because she's not from America. Yeah, she's a witch, but she ain't killed nobody yet. There's no reason to bother anybody. She hates people, but she runs a bar and legally does other things in this country. Everything's legal. It's like, you kill millions of people just because you're not American.
And I talked to her myself. She's not a bad person. Hell no.
Right, a little strange, but so you don't ever wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to get the shotgun I own legally and open fire on a crowd like some people are doing. Yet she's treated with less respect than the guy who would do it. I thought that was the most sad thing. We're going to talk down to her because she's not American, or because she's a non-American female, or the fact that she has a hobby of family tradition to uphold, as well as other things. But now she's going to be treated like Adolf Hitler's Nazi soldiers in modern day because she looks different or acts different than everyone else. Like I said, I've lost respect for people. I've been praising Sabrina ever since we got home, because I told her that no matter what the humans said to you, you did anything that I would have done in this situation. And I told her that sooner or later, the society's going to fall, and we'll leave it up to Uncle William to rebuild everything back together. He made a funny joke recently watching the news. He came to visit after he found out, and he said, what a disgraceful, fleshy, mortal creature to ever dare share a beating heart and oxygen with my niece. The world is falling apart, and I will put you back together. I haven't seen him. He's been gone for hours. I know he's in the warehouse. The little thing that's, the little bit of section where I had forage and stuff. Whatever he does, regardless of how lethal or not it is, I'm going to support him. Because I do agree. COVID and a bunch of other BS happening in the world, shit needs to change, but shit's not changing, so whatever he does, I'm gonna allow, and hell, depending on how bad or otherwise it is, I might just support it and help along. Because that was unacceptable. To call my daughter a caged animal and then, do what they've done because she has the same amount of rights as we do as human beings. Even if she's not completely all that. And to treat her with such terrible respect of none at all. William might do something really bad. Now, and I think some of the officers around this area city I live near knows this, because he's mostly robotic. He can take 50 caliber rounds and not give a damn. It's not bothering him at all. We can confirm that. He ain't bothered. He says, you can't kill something you can't hurt. And he's been through a lot. So he doesn't have value in life. Like I said, I'm not going to, condone into whatever he's going to do if it hadn't happened the way it happened recently. And I'm just going to go for it now. That's all I'm going to say. Whatever he does, the world deserved. I guess we're still recording all of this to make it all known, I'm guessing, since there's not really much else to do here besides... And I know some of these viewers will be confused on things like, why would you feel this way, yada yada this. It's just because it's been rooted ever since I got back. It's been just... And if you watch some of these videos, we just want to play these games and have a bit of fun. We don't go around bothering anybody.
I remember the day you got home.
We got Twitch streams.
I
It's bad. We even Twitch stream not doing anything. We play our games in passive, and we don't cause any problems. With our Twitch streams, especially on Grand Theft Auto, the most hostile game in America. And yet we're the ones that get fucked over the most, I personally believe.
Because I remember the day you came home, you sent me a message asking me, hey, how's Fallout doing? And I just told you, it's not doing too well.
It was a depressing sight. But the world favors darkness over light. I do fear they have opened a hell of a darkness up after today. Like I said, Uncle Afton's not nice to people. Uncle Afton does not enjoy people being mean to other people, especially people he cares for. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if I went out to visit him and he was maniacally laughing and mumbling about what he will be doing. It drives him insane just about as much as driving me crazy, but again, I can't do a whole lot of say that it's not fair and to condone what she's done as a right thing to do, because again, she did everything that she was trained to do, and she let nothing get in her way to protect us. I do believe that what she did actually saved our lives today. I can move from the rooms now, by the way. I gotta go check on something I see outside involving a trash can. So if it wasn't for her, I do believe that one of us would have been shot. And not by the police officer. No. By the guy with the broom handle. His wife had a firearm. So, just like I said, man.
Really fucked up.
I think if Sabrina hadn't done what she did to her husband, she would have drawn and fired on one of us. Clover doesn't have an active concealed carry or anything right now, or any weapon that I own that I've been sold to her legally or otherwise. She can't conceal carry a shotgun and get a license for it right now. You know, I don't. It's not possible as far as I'm aware. She doesn't have a pistol like me and Amber do, and so she couldn't just do anything about it, because again, like I said, you go take your firearm and you open up in a crowd of people, you're going to prison, or hell worse, they're going to show up and they're not going to question why you're doing it. They're not going to give a damn if the guy you're shooting at just died from your bullet wounds because he opened fire to try to kill you himself, just because. They're going to shoot you and they're going to say, wow, what a bad person that dude was. I'm glad we killed him. That's what they're going to say. That whoop-de-doo, guys, we did it. We won for the team. We killed a bad person. And then they're going to go and release their official statements like he was on crack or something, and when the coroner comes back and says otherwise, they're going to have the autopsy guy arrested for tampering with evidence. It's a cycle that happens in day-to-day life. It's been happening for years, too. They did that with William's wife. Had cancer. She died from said cancer, and I don't know how this all got started, but some people that need to do their job were later arrested after autopsy was done, because the police agency did not believe that she died of cancer. Someone in the agency was like, oh, what if she died from an overdose? And she was storing all those pills in those pockets of her body that were clearly tumors. So when they got to the autopsy room and found out the tumors were removed for examination years before her death, and then realized that she was already cut up, those people got arrested for tampering with evidence. Their medical license were removed, and the cops were very angry at William for letting it happen. Like he was going to sit here and lie to anyone, saying that his wife was anything of that nature. It is very saddening, but again, like I said, people don't care for each other. William's probably going to shut down his bionic thing soon, because he doesn't believe anymore. He doesn't believe in people's good natures anymore. And he said, I don't care if it's I don't care who they are. They're more likely going to screw me over or screw my friends and family over and do things as far as murder to get what they want. They're not getting a limb. So you can thank poor behavior. Just make sure you thank the people who have poor decisions, because it's people like that, Bromby, they have lost the ability to let other people push their. William did everything he could to give people they pushed that thing on to get them their organs or limbs. And he's not doing that no more because, he can't trust human beings anymore. To say that, so at least he fears that, him giving them a new organ will open up some sort of lawsuit down the road that, oh, hey, you gave my husband a mechanical or otherwise limb that can be hacked by you. I'm going to sue because you saved my husband's life for your own gain or some shit. So he just shut his shit down and said, cool. I don't really blame him at all, because just cause. But oh well. I got nothing else to say. You got anything else to say? Because I ain't got shit else to say.
The way people are acting, they don't deserve the great gift that William could have given. And I don't blame William. He's been.
How could anyone?
Right, but he's been there. He's probably been, as far as I know, the only personal friend that you actually met that you had. I know I'm here, but I've never seen you in real in person.
But you count. I mean, you count a little bit too, even though we haven't met each other real, right, on the real level, because you've been here too.
Nor will we probably ever.
He'd be here a bit more than he usually is if it went for his business and the things he's doing. He says he regrets not being able to get away sometimes as well. He regrets it. But there goes the dragon, and they're pissed.
For what I just said is, William's a great man. It doesn't matter what he did; he's a great man. And Sabrina is a great woman. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because she did what she felt she had to do to protect. And I thank you for taking your duty and to protect and to serve. But I am sorry for the way it has turned out for you.
Thank you.
That's all of the whole lot that I really have to say. So, thank you for, I guess thank you for being here. But thank you for openly expressing your thoughts here today. Thank you for being here. And I do.
Thank you for having me.
I do appreciate having you here. I look forward to seeing you maybe more and more days in the future. But other than that, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you